Welcome. My name is Fiona O'Reilly, and I'm part of the team here at Divine Renovation Ministry. As a ministry, we exist to inspire and equip parishes to be missional. And we know that this is a really challenging time. There's lots of new opportunities, people have big questions, and they are hungry for places to bring them. And yet parishes, in order to respond, are having to go online, having to do digital in ways that they've never had to before. So we've put together this Alpha Online Bootcamp to help parishes take that step and move Alpha online. We really hope that you're going to find it useful because it's grounded in practical experience and lessons from parishes who are already on the journey. We're so grateful to our friends at Saint Benedict Parish in Halifax, Nova Scotia in Canada, who've agreed to share what they've learned. They moved an Alpha that was halfway through online and finished it off there, and they've run a full Alpha online. So they've done the weekend, they've been through 2 healing nights, they know what it takes, and they have had all the lessons and all the experience along the way. So it's going to be really helpful to hear what have been the successes, what have been the struggles, what have been the questions, and what are some of the answers that we're finding. In this video, we're going to have a look at the whole area of teams. How do we help our guests have an amazing online experience? What are some of the things that we need to think about for ourselves as hosts or helpers? And what are some of the practicalities that it can just be really useful to keep a bit of an eye on?
Hi there, my name is Tanya Noy and I'm the Alpha and Engagement Coordinator here at Saint Benedict Parish in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Thank you so much for joining and thank you for your yes to being on Alpha team. If you've been asked to be an Alpha host online, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for taking ownership of your small group and being willing to lead your guests into a deeper relationship with Jesus. If you've been asked to be a helper on Online Alpha, thank you for your yes to providing hospitality to all of the guests and supporting your Online Alpha host. And finally, huge thank you to all of you for being so invitational and inviting friends, family, coworkers, neighbors to your Online Alpha. I'm really excited for all of you, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised at the experience that you're going to have over a Zoom call with all of your people that you've invited. So with Online Alpha here at Saint Benedict, we have 1 host and 1 helper per breakout room. So our small groups are maybe a little smaller than we would have in person, but this really does help facilitate those small group discussions over the Zoom call. So there's a few different ways that we have our guests join us for our Online Alpha. One way is your invitation, so you inviting your friends and family, coworkers. Another way is we always encourage our parishioners to invite as well. And so people are going to be coming to us through them. And lastly, through our website, people that are connected to us online are going to go ahead and register. And so it's really exciting. So we're going to meet lots of new people and make lots of new friends. And they could be from anywhere in the world because they're going to be joining us through Zoom. Here at Saint Benedict, we have a culture of invitation, and so we encourage everybody to invite friends, family, to come and join us for Alpha. And to be honest, it's never been easier to invite people to join an Online Alpha. People are a lot of times chomping at the bit to be connected with people now, and this is a really easy onboarding way of connecting. So what we've found is we've had people that have joined us for our Alpha online that never would have joined us in person. So I really encourage you to be invitational and to reach out to your friends and family through text messages or maybe FaceTime or Zoom calls or email. And if you're in the position, maybe even in person, but just invite. And invite them to come just to check out week 1 and just come and see. We've also found that online Alpha, we've been able to increase our retention rate. We've had over 93% of the people who started Alpha online with us stay till the very end, and that is a wonderful number. So when our guests register for online Alpha, they're going to get some communication. They'll get a Zoom link that'll be used each week. But upfront, we're gonna actually offer anybody that is unfamiliar with Zoom some tech support so they can reach out to us ahead of time so we can try and work through some of the kinks and maybe some of the anxiety that they might have in joining a Zoom call. We want to take away as many barriers as possible for people. So what does a typical online Alpha look like? Well, what we've found is it's really helpful. People coming onto the call, there's going to be a slide with some direction, some welcoming. We're going to have music, praise and worship music playing. This is how we've introduced our praise and worship music to people. And we're going to keep everybody muted for about the first 5 minutes during that time. Also, we're going to have some instruction on how to change your name and have it on your screen to reflect your first name and whatever breakout room you've been assigned to. This is really important for us to make sure that everybody gets into the right rooms. So familiarize yourself with that and also help your guests with that if they're having any problems. Another thing, during that first 5 minutes, really important for you all to be super hospitable to your guests. And you might be wondering, well, how do you do that over Zoom, especially when you're muted? Well, if it's a large gathering, what we want to encourage you all to do is to use the chat feature. And you can chat it up with everybody on the Zoom call, or you can privately message your guests and give them a message of welcoming and maybe have some fun back and forth banter with them. But this is a real key point in terms of hospitality, and we want to be very hospitable to all of our guests. After that first 5 minutes on the call and everybody gets sort of settled in, then our MC is going to start by preparing the night, leading us through what the topic is and maybe introducing a poll question, which will be related to the topic of the night. What we've also found is it's a lot of fun to do an icebreaker or a game instead of trying to ease some of the tension that people might have by telling a joke. We've replaced that with games, and we've got some really fun games such as charades, emoji movie trivia. We've had a lot of different would you rather, a lot of different fun games that have been really engaging. And what that also has done is it's encouraged people to use the chat feature. And so it's gotten them a little bit more familiar in a fun and light way. So once our MC has done a run through of the night and we've had a little bit of fun, they're gonna ask everybody to turn off their own video. This is gonna help with some of the bandwidth use so that when we start streaming the Alpha video, it's going to be less choppy and smoother. Following the Alpha video, our MC is gonna bring us back and they're gonna ask everybody to restart their video and unmute themselves before going into those breakout rooms. So if you all could maybe familiarize yourself with those features, there'll be a little video camera on your screen that you can click on, and that will start and stop your video, and a little microphone that will also do the same for your sound. So going into small group, you're gonna have 45 minutes of time in your small group for discussion. And what we wanna encourage you to do is to take the first 5 minutes to just check in with everybody, see how everybody's week was, and keep the conversation light and fun. Our small groups, typically in an in-person Alpha, would have been 10 to 12. What we've found is that's kind of large for an online Alpha, for a small group discussion in a breakout room. So I would encourage you to have 10 or under. 6 seems to be a really magical number, 6 to 8. So that would be the ideal. And when you're in your small groups, please, please, please remember, people still need that 7 seconds to process thoughts. So when you ask a question for discussion, give them that time. This can seem like an eternity in person, and it seems like even more of an eternity over a Zoom call. So try and sit with that silence and have patience in that. And remember, in the first several weeks, we really just want to make it a fun and engaging environment. So have fun, keep the conversation light. We also don't want to put people on the spot necessarily, but look for subtle cues that somebody might be wanting to speak. I know on a Zoom call, that little box that's around people's videos, you can watch for that. And if it lights up, that could be an indication that they might want to say something and share. So it's perfectly fine to ask somebody, say, hey, Joe, it looks like you might have wanted to say something there. Did you want to pipe in? Give people the opportunity to share. As a helper in the breakout room, the chat feature can be really useful. So you can privately message guests. So if somebody's not saying a whole lot, or maybe they're not saying anything at all, that's okay. You can always check in with them using that chat feature and privately message them and ask them if they have anything that they'd like to share, and that's okay too. And remember, as Alpha team, it's still so important that you take in the Alpha training videos. So those Alpha Essentials and small group videos are really key. All of the same things apply to an online Alpha as they do to an in-person Alpha. So make sure you go ahead and watch those. Even if you've watched them before, it's always good to have a refresher. So after our small group time is over, everybody is brought back into the main room on Zoom. There's any announcements, a goodbye message, and then see you next week. And everybody is able to leave the call. We do have our team stay on the call though, and we have a debrief with just a quick high and low from the night. And that way, if there are any issues or any difficulties, we can chat about them as a team and encourage one another in whatever the struggle might be if somebody is not talking or maybe somebody's talking too much, and all of that gets squared away at the end of that call. That's why it's so important to center everything that we do on Alpha around prayer. That's why we meet as a team prior to our night to pray together. That's why we meet after our night is done to debrief and to pray together, to pray for one another, to pray for our guests. And I would encourage you all to pray for your guests throughout the week and maybe even reach out to them, keep connected with them, encourage them. This is what's going to make for a really successful Alpha.
We want our guests to have a fantastic small group experience. That's what we hear parishes say all around the world. We hope that some of the ideas that Tanya has shared will really help you do that. And there's also some practical help, because the videos in particular and how to stream well can be a source of such anxiety for parishes. So we've put together a special video that talks you through how to stream the Alpha videos really well. We hope you find that really helpful. And we're looking forward to what God does with and through you as you welcome all your guests and help them have a great experience.